Welcome back, League Mates and listeners. We are back with another Pigskin Pals podcast. It's me, Dane, and the hottest co-host in the industry, AJ Morrill, back with me. It is week 10. We're going to be going over our favorite DFS plays. We're going to be showing our DFS lineups that are going to be competing with each other and just our thought process on our build. But shout out everyone in the comments. Thanks for engaging with us, and let's have another video blow up this week. Let's get stuck right into it. As we can see, I am on a tear right now. 4 wins in a row. Went from 1 to 4 to 5 and 4, taking the dubs day after week after week.
I need to talk about this one. I'm a little bit more salty about this one than I am about past ones because I was only down, 8 points going into the last game where I had Noah Gray, who hasn't put up a donut all year. He's scoring at least 4 points basically like every game. I'm pissed off about it. And then Jalen McMillan, who ends up being hurt and not playing. So I get 2 donuts on the last day when I only need 8 points. It's really annoying. I think if, it was like the other weeks I win, but it's all good. I'm not salty.
Yeah, I've actually done in the past where I call a sub for someone that might not play or whatever. But
I didn't realize McMillan was even questionable until 2 days after we put it in. I said, I should just, whatever, I'll just leave it.
I don't even know what your pivot would have been. I think Shepard might have been more expensive.
Probably more expensive. For Hakeem Jarrett probably or some shit.
Yeah, for pivots, I say you have to only change that one position, but then you can only go, if you have extra salary space, you can go up, but if you don't, then you have to go down. Well, but yeah, I was happy with my win. I mean, I was upset with some of the plays that I had because going right before we recorded, I had Cedric Tillman instead of Waddle, and I had Taysom Hill in a tight end, so I could have had a better week.
You would have just boomed, yeah.
Yeah, that would have been nice, but we can hop into our Week 10 lineups.
Look at that transition. Hello.
We are both feeling really good about our lineups, as we were saying to each other before we started recording, and we're starting off hot with quarterbacks. We got Burrow and Jackson, who are playing tonight. It's Thursday night as we're recording, and I'll reveal my first player. But first, I want you to know I did start off building my lineup this week with Lamar Jackson. I wanted him, and
dude,
I couldn't afford everything, so I was like, man.
What I'll preface by saying is when trying to put together those the last flex. And I think maybe my last receiver slot, whatever it was, I was like, God, this is so hard. I had to really think about it for a while.
I'll let you know, I still have someone in my flex that is $3,000.
I have one in the $3,000 range, so we're a little bit similar there.
But my running back one is going to be James Conner this week against the Jets. We've seen some running backs kind of go ham on the Jets. You can't really pass on them. So hopefully the Cardinals just have a running attack against the Jets. And AJ, he's got
JK. The Titans are, I feel like in the past, they've been a team where it's you're scared to play running backs and you're scared to play receivers against them because their defense has been pretty stingy. It's not really the case anymore, I feel like. And J.K. Dobbins has been so good, so reliable. We're doing this thing with our friends, with our league, where we're picking we're all picking one anytime touchdown player. J.K. Dobbins is my pick for this week, so I feel good. I think he'll get in the end zone.
I will say he was the player that I was most upset about being in that, because I was like, because I still think that the Titans are a really good defense against the run. At least I thought they were. I'm happy to say
I believe it's it says 16th here, but on a different app they were 21st against running backs. So I think they're either right in the middle or towards the back end.
Okay. Well, good news for my Dobbins shares in Dynasty, but my running back 2 is Jonathan Taylor. We just saw the Dolphins running backs tear it up against the Buffalo Bills, and some other running backs have been having their way with them too. Jonathan Taylor, I don't know if you remember last year, or was it 2 years ago? He had 5 touchdowns against the Bills. Maybe he's coming in with that energy again, and they're at home too. Both my running backs are. I'm liking that. Oh yeah, I didn't really talk about Burrow, but I just said I wanted Jackson, but I pivoted to Burrow. I think they kind of have similar floors this week. I mean,
yeah.
Baltimore defense has just been the absolute number one passing funnel. So I'm liking how that's turned out. There's no T. Higgins, but I think they'll still be able to get it done. AJ's running back too. Wow, your boys.
So I need you. This is what I was saying. I really like my team this week because I don't know if you noticed. If you take a look at my redraft team, all 3 of these guys are this is exactly where they are on my team. My starting QB, my 2 starting running backs. I'm feeling good about my redraft team this week, and I'm feeling good about Ramondre Stevenson I don't know. He's been scoring off the chain. He's got the starting job back. Like they sat him for that 1 week or didn't start him for that 1 week with his fumbling issues, but he's getting all the work again, or most of the work again. Chicago has been pretty mediocre against the run, and I think Ramondre, again, will get in the end zone. I feel good about Mr. Ramondre, and I'm sticking with my boys this week, dude. They're all my guys.
Yeah, I don't think it should be like the game should get out of hand. I know they have a really good passing defense, so hopefully this just stays a close game. That's
what I expect.
We'll be able to get some points for you. So then if you just have your redraft team, I'm assuming you have Zay Flowers, you have Devontae Adams.
We'll see. You might. We'll see. We'll see.
All right. The first wide receiver I have listed is no one else but Tyreek Hill. He is still down in that $7,000 range. I've been trying to fit him into my lineups the past couple of weeks, but this is the week that I did. And he's playing against the Rams, who JSN, we can talk about him, but
Torch.
Maybe. That was nice to see. He should have had like
crazy
50 yards and 2 touchdowns, but it was cool to see. AJ's wide receiver. Yep. What did I say?
There he is. Zay Flowers. The boy has been insane the last couple of weeks. I think it's like the last 3 or 4 games he's been above 110 yards in each of them. I think him and Lamar kind of finally hit their stride. They're starting to use him in different ways other than just catching the ball behind the line of scrimmage, which is nice. Yeah, I mean, he's been really reliable. I think this game's going to be high scoring. Obviously, you think so too with Burrow. I think it's going to be a fun game to watch, and I wanted every part in it that I could.
All right. Well, let's see. It looks like we're pretty even on spending right now.
Pretty close, yeah.
Overall, this is going to be just my second wide receiver. I got DeAndre Hopkins. He just had himself a day in that Monday night game. The Denver defense is a lot tougher to pass against, but I think I saw a connection there, and for $5,300, I think that's pretty cheap. It was fine.
And we just saw, I mean, Lamar and Zay Flowers torch the Broncos. So it's not like they're unbeatable. And I think this Hopkins could get there too.
Right. AJ's. Wow, you went with Jalen Waddle.
I the last couple of weeks. This is what I was going to say. The last couple of weeks, you've been going to Waddle. He hasn't really been doing all that much. He caught a touchdown last week, I think, whatever it is. But I was like, man, I hate
like
cheap guy.
20 yards.
I know, it was pretty crazy. But I was like, man, you know what? I'm going to take the Dane strategy this week. A cheap little Jalen Waddle against this Rams defense that you mentioned is got absolutely destroyed by JSN last week. I think he's going to be a good value here. I really hope he turns it around for me and not for you like he had in the past. So we'll see what happens.
Who would you think my third wide receiver is? Out of curiosity.
Okay. Can you give me? Is this going to be like a really low guy, or is this like?
I don't know why DraftKings does it like. It's just like a random order of lineups, but this person is more expensive than Hopkins.
Devontae Adams.
No, I was squeezing him in there, and then being down for Burrow, I was able to actually upgrade to Puka Nacua. I got the game stack with Tyreek and Puka. So those are my wide receivers. I do have one more in my flex, but we'll get to that. And AJ,
I don't remember.
Jameson Williams.
I think this could actually be a pretty good game. Yeah, his first game back, he's gonna be fresh, absolutely fresh legs, dude. I think he'll have one of those games.
The PEDs, not the legs.
I think this could be a pretty fun game to watch, just because Detroit's been fairly beatable in the air. So I think CJ Stroud will have a better game than he has recently. So I think it will be pretty high scoring, and I think J-Mo will get a couple big plays. That's my thought process there. That's my hope. He could also go for 0. That's the type of player he is. I hope that's not what happens.
Yeah, and my tight end with T. Higgins out, I'm going with the wide receiver 2 on the Cincinnati Bengals with my stack of Joe Burrow. I'm assuming that you have...
Take it down. Let me see it. The man. There it is. Mike Gesicki.
Okay, that's always nice. We should just agree every single week before we start recording on what the tight end is, and then we can just shovel our...
Not worry about it.
Yeah, we can put it in spots.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was hinting at my flex being really gross earlier. I went with David Moore on...
It freaked me out for a second. I saw D Moore. I'm like, how'd you get DJ Moore for $3,000?
No, just promo codes. Just some hacks. But I went with David Moore. And you would think that I couldn't afford like Coker, who you would think is the wide receiver 2, but DJ Moore was the wide receiver 2 last week, oddly, playing like 80% of the snaps. And I think he had the second most targets in the receiver room too. So hopefully he keeps that running. and he's just a really good value play. So we'll see. AJ's tight end or
A little bit less gross, but still not.
Yeah, I think you do have some more money than me right now. You went with Xavier Hutchinson?
I'm going with that
zeros.
Detroit-Houston game. You got David Moore, bro. You can't talk. Like, come on, bro. I wanted to target that game. There wasn't a lot of nice picks here with 3,600 whatever I had left. It's not a fun place to look at in these DraftKings lineups. There's not a lot there. And I think if I think the game is going to be as high scoring as I expect, throwing a guy in there in that matchup, it can't hurt. I think we're both going to have probably pretty low points here in this part, but just the upside I think is there. So that's why I picked that.
And my defense is the Denver Broncos.
I don't hate it.
AJ went with New England Patriots. $100 more than me.
The Bears still suck.
Looking at Denver Broncos. Obviously, they're playing the Chiefs, but it is a divisional game, and they were the cheapest defense on DraftKings, but unlike our fantasy apps like ESPN and Sleeper, they were kind of like up there this week in like expected points. So I was like, this seems maybe like a little value that I could capitalize on. But after seeing the teams, how do you feel this week? You think you're gonna get one back in the week?
Let's see. I think I can. I mean, I thought I could literally every week that we've done this. I thought I'm gonna win this week. So what's really gonna happen is David Moore's gonna have about 20 points, and I'm gonna lose, and it's gonna be a fantastic time. I'm gonna be really happy.
It's not. I don't think it's going to be David. I think we could chalk up zeros in our flex spot, but kind of across the board, I got to say, like, I like Tyreek over Zay. I like D-Hop over Waddle, and I like Puka over JMO, obviously. But
yeah, I mean, we'll see. You're always going to like your team more. I feel like that's kind of how it works for the most part. You picked him for a reason, right? So
we can see. Just mark it up as another for me.
Yeah, chalk it up as a Dane W. That's probably what's going to happen anyway. So moving on to our Week 10 redraft picks. We actually have some differences this week. Not too many, just 2 of them. I'm still up. I'm up 3 games. Dane, what was the scores for this week? Do you know? Last week?
So I was at 31 before, so I got 4 wins, and you were at 34, so you got 5 wins.
Okay, well, first matchup we have differently is Ben and Ethan, so I figured let's pull that up quickly here. I went too far, but that's okay. This is Ben versus Ethan's game. Let's see here. What's your main takeaway from Ben's team here that you have him win?
This was a tough one because initially looking at the teams, Ethan has Joe Burrow, my DFS quarterback. So I was like, I'm going to be kind of into this team right away. But then looking at the teams more, I also really liked the Joe Mixon matchup against because Jacobs had like 100 yards in the first quarter. Ben actually just has more teams or more players that I was playing in my DFS. He has James Conner, he's got Mike Gesicki, he's got Puka Nacua, and then he's got AJ Brown against the Dallas defense, which should
go to defense.
Yeah, go to defense. It was just some of those players that I really liked, and then Ethan felt a little too invested in the Commanders, kind of, where it was like the special, or what do you call them?
Skill position? Is that what you're saying?
Skill positions. Where then Ben just has the quarterback to kind of recoup those points also. So
yeah, that's fair. The way I feel about things like that, though, is I tend to side on the side of the non-quarterback, just because you do tend to, if it's Jane Daniels does well, I'm going to bet, for the most part, that Brian Robinson and Taylor McLaurin are also doing well. And if Jaden Daniels does poorly, then then it's more likely that the B-Rob and Terry McLaurin side have a more salvageable day. But
I can see that. But against the Pittsburgh defense, I'm picturing like really no touchdowns for anyone, maybe one.
Sure. But with that kind of being said, I do like Joe Burrow much more than Jaden Daniels, and I think Joe Mixon and Aaron Jones both have like really, really good matchups. So I think they're going to score a lot of points this week. And obviously, if I think Joe Burrow is going to have a good day, Jamar Chase is going to have a good day. Kate Otton's been a freak.
What about Drake?
I think I'll admit
he's going to play.
Yeah, it is a tough part. Realistically, I hope he doesn't. So my Ray McLeod play in Dynasty looks nice. I think he'll end up playing. It seemed like it was pretty minor. If he doesn't, it looks like Terry would slide up, and then Juwan Jennings would have to be the play if he plays. That could be a little rough. I won't lie. But I also like Kate Otten. So I think I do like Ben's flex a little bit more. But I think the running backs and quarterback 1, wide receiver 1, I think could score like buku bucks points and just put him too far ahead.
Yeah, that's if Juwan plays. If Juwan can't play, then it's Zach Ertz going into lineup, and then that's That's 4 commanders that
I
was going to be.
I would bet that there's someone on the waiver wire that he can swap in there. God, I would hope that's the case at least. Maybe. Wait, did I pick up Noah Brown? Oh, I did. That would have been so sick if you picked up Noah Brown and put him in instead of Zach Ertz, dude. Come on, no. But yeah, I think this will be a really good game or a good matchup overall. I think it could be pretty close.
Yeah, and then the second one that we were different on was Peter and Ryan. So literally like a dead even split in predictions right now.
Yep. I got Rye Guy. Darnell Mooney's going to be a freak every week, especially if Drake London doesn't play. Amon-Ra is going to have a great week. The Amon-Ra Jared Goff stack, I think this week especially, could be really, really nice. Derrick Henry is going to do Derrick Henry things. I think what it really comes down to me is the flex positions. I hate Algier, especially when you already have Bijan Robinson on your team. And DeAndre Swift's been doing pretty well. And then Odunze versus Amari Cooper, I think honestly will be more of a wash, but I think Cooper has a higher upside. So that's the general gist of why I went Ryan.
The flexes are a bit gross, but Peter's the edge in tight end, and then I think quarterback by a mile. Also, I would also maybe say in the running back department too, just because Kyron is so much better than Tony Pollard in my opinion.
Dude, you can't keep saying that, man.
No, dude, Pollard's playing the Chargers right now. Like one of the best defenses.
He's doesn't matter. Like every matchup, he's a beast. I swear. Check. I'll pull up stats right now because look at this. He's matchup free minus Buffalo. 16, 13, 16, 17, 12. Like, look at this, dude. This is insane.
I'm not seeing
he's matchup free.
20 burgers, though.
You don't need a 20 burger from Tony Pollard. That's not what you're looking for. You're looking for a 15 burger when Derrick Henry puts up 40. Like, come on, man.
But I'm also down on Henry this week, too, because I think this is going to be a close game where they might not have that blowout lead where they're just going to start pounding the rock. It's going to be more of Burrow versus Lamar, in my opinion.
I see that. I can see that.
And then, yeah, Peter also has a great stack with Devonta Smith of Hurts.
True.
He's not the only one with the stack.
True.
And if you like that Detroit-Houston game,
then Tank Dell
also has Tank. So, yeah, and you can run on New Orleans right now because they're dog water also. So I think this is a really close game. But
I think both of these are only 2 differences, I believe. But I think these two could be like really, really tight.
We have one difference this week, but we have the matchup of the week that we can also talk about.
Yeah, we do got to look into that.
Host.
Yeah, I'm going to do it right away. I'm going to go to our matchup first, just because I think it's necessary that we do so. I will say I think you're catching me on a down week here. Not really. I'm only missing a flex, but we'll see.
I mean, look at my down week. You're catching me on a down week also.
I don't know, man. J.K. Dobbins, he might put up 50 this week.
No, but I have Jordan Love on bye. I have Jerry Jeudy on bye, Christian Watson on bye, JSN on bye, David Njoku on bye, and then obviously Godwin, Ayuk, and Rice all injured. Pretty bad.
I will say
for myself.
But I will say it's nice that you got Daniel Jones against Carolina. I think he has a a chance to actually have like a really nice week for you. Same thing with I think Chuba and Daniel Jones could be 2 of your better performing guys, which is weird, but just because they're playing each other, I think they have a chance to do quite well.
And I got JK, who you like this week.
Yep,
too.
I obviously love JK.
I'm playing against Tony Pollard, who I just pooped on.
Yeah, and I love Tony Pollard. There is an issue, though. If CeeDee Lamb doesn't play, then obviously probably Zaire Puka slides up there. Right now I have Javonte in. I'm not too sold on playing Mr. Javonte Williams against the Kansas City Chiefs, but he just had a hard matchup last week and he scored like 9 points, so who knows. If I had to make a decision, I'd probably put in Ray McLeod, which is unfortunate. Tank Bigsby's kind of fallen off the face of the earth.
Spots.
Along with ETN. Yeah, like there could be worse spot starts.
Especially if
I also picked up your boy Mike Williams.
My boy Mike
off of waivers because I had John Mechie and that guy's useless. Yeah, I mean I think it could be close. I do feel pretty solid. I think I just have kind of better players overall, but I think your matchups are pretty good.
What was your thought process on playing Goff and Kirk over Kyler?
You've been able to throw on both of these teams, and Kyler, here's what I'll say. Not impressed with Kyler this year. I've watched a lot of Kyler games, and he just doesn't necessarily always look very good. I think he could struggle against the Jets. I don't know why I think that. It's more of a feeling than anything. I'll be honest with you. What it attributes to the most is that I trust Jared Goff and Kirk Cousins more in their respective matchups. I think they're a little bit safer.
I agree that the matchup against the Jets for Kyler is pretty tough, but it's an interesting debate between Goff when he's literally asked to throw the ball sub 20 times a game versus Kyler, who you know is going to kind of be active and throwing a bit more.
True, but you also know that the offense Goff is in is going to be good every single week. Like, it's not a debate. They're going to score points. They're going to... So it's just like, I think there's higher chances for touchdowns and things like that. It's safe.
If you catch a team that's playing Goff that can keep up and score just as much, then you're going to have a kind of one of those banana games.
Agreed. All right, we can move on to I believe it's Ryan's game. Ryan and Riley is what we have different.
Yep. I went with Riley.
Yep, I went with Ryan. I believe, I don't remember this one all that much. I got to take a look skis here. Well, Tyler Lockett's on bye. That's tough. I'm seeing it. I'm seeing the vision I had here, I think. So I think my vision is riding on Jamison Williams, Ryan Thomas, JT, Drake May, and Breece Hall. Those were the guys I really liked on this squad. And I also think Jordan Addison, who has not been all that good this year, is a sneaky good play this week against Jacksonville.
Yeah, I would agree that just overall the skill positions for Ryan's team looks a lot better than Riley, who really hasn't even filled it out with Lockett on bye, and then he's got Xavier Legette on his lineup right now. I'm kind of confused by the nickname they gave Legette. I don't know what.
Oh, you don't know that?
Allergic?
You haven't seen that?
What is that?
There's a interview with him where he says allergic, really, really funny, because he's talking about what foods he's allergic to. You should look it up. He also says asparagus, really funny. He goes, asparagus. It's great. I love Xavier Legette. He's the best. He's my favorite.
Okay, that is cool. But the quarterbacks really stand out. The matchups for Riley's quarterbacks are nice, and he's got
That's true.
And Allen. And then
That's very true.
Ryan has Drake May and Caleb Williams, who are playing each other, and I'm not really expecting that to be like a high scoring game. And those players I think have kind of been like his downside of his team this year. I mean, Drake May's kind of been a bright spot, but
Drake May's been great.
Recently Caleb pretty booty.
Yeah,
but
I agree with that.
He does have some good games occasionally. Yeah, I don't know.
Who do we think he fills in?
Sterling Shepard is.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah, and then he kind of leaves it. So
yeah,
I'm kind of good with, but it's going to be a close one. I could see it either way.
It's the scary thing with Riley's team. I mean, it's how I lost to him last week in a heat, like a really high scoring matchup. Is those quarterbacks put up a lot of points damn near every week. So he's always going to be in games because they're going to put up 30+ points, and then one of his guys is bound to have a good week, and you're just like, okay, we're gonna have a match. So this is like, he's the type of team where I don't want them to make the playoffs, because they're like, if you play them the first round, or it's like, it can just be like a game where he scores 160 and you lose. He's a scary team like that. Very.
It'd be so nice to just not have to worry about quarterbacks for the next 15 years in Dynasty.
Yeah, very cool. Don't remember. I mean, just a good draft there from him. Like, damn. That is it. I believe that's all we got for you for our week. What week is this? 10? Yeah, week 10 episode. Let us know what you think of our DFS teams. Let us know if you disagree with any of the matchups that we talked about today. Probably like Ryan will disagree with you or something, because he's the only one who comments, and he's going to look at this and he's going to be like, yo, man, what the hell? So appreciate you all watching. Don't forget to sack that like, subscribe button like it's Joe Bizarro, and we'll see you next time.